I've had a long day, but I've enjoyed the time that I got to spend with my family. I thought about I hadn't done an update, so I thought I would do one. I thought today would be the perfect day on Christmas. But one gift that I am just excited about is just the gift of healing. As I continue this cancer journey of mine, one of the things that I have struggled with the most during this time really has just been like trying to make sure I'm being patient. I knew going into this thing that with the type of ovarian cancer that I have, that because I've said this before, it's slow progressing, so it's slow to treat. It's also one of those cancers that has a high recurrent rate. I have to try to keep that in mind and also just be present in the moment and be thankful where I am, where I've come from, where I'm going. And so just speaking about patience and just try not to get aggravated and impatient all the time, and just going through those moments of like, oh my gosh, another day of taking medication, another day of nausea or whatever might be going on that day. Most of the time I feel, as far as my mood, most of the time I'm okay. Most of the times I feel like I get anxious around the time to do my CT scans. And I do those every 8 weeks. But it's just a reminder that everything isn't on our timing. I believe that everything in life happens for a reason. I hope once my cancer journey is over and I'm healed and I'm cancer free, that the rest of life is just gonna be smooth sailing, Anyway, so got my CT scan done. This is one of those times where I really wasn't like, a lot of times I just really have to just like talk to myself, like positive self-talk. I really was just like, okay, you're good, do what you gotta do, come on out of there. So my chart results come in. And if you're familiar with my chart, or if you ever had a CT scan before, like a lot of times I don't even read through the whole thing. I just read the summary, because you will get yourself worked up thinking you just all messed up, and it really ain't the case, because you have all these words that you might not understand, because it was showing that there was a increase in my tumor. And the last couple of CT scans I've had an increase. And so with this time, I was a little more concerned, just because I'm like, it's increased again. But there's a reason for the increase, and it's not a bad thing. So my doctor told me that my tumor is doing something that pretty much is showing that there's a breakdown of the tumor, but because there's cystic fluid in there, there's also calcium that's replacing the cancerous parts of the tumor. So therefore, that's why it's increasing. So the increase isn't a bad thing. Of course, they're still watching it. I'm on a clinical trial, so I still get my CT scans every 8 weeks. But sometimes I just like jot things out to try to like process my feelings about certain things or anything or whatever. I was just increase for decrease. That was the first thing I wrote down. Increase for decrease, increase for decrease. And that was like something that was in my head over and over. And to me, it just like, it reflects a divine exchange. So like what looks like an increase as far as my tumor, what looks like an increase on the surface is not an increase in disease. Thank God. And then it's just more thoughts start to come to me as I was writing. And so the next thing I wrote down is, what's growing is not the disease. It's the evidence that the disease has no power. And if we think about our faith, we know where our power lies anyway. You know, we can have all these different things come against us, but we know who is in control. And sometimes God, especially in my situation, he doesn't remove things immediately. He transforms it. Transforming it into something that can no longer harm me or harm you. Again, what increased in size decreased in power. You know, even though when I first saw it, I'm like, I'm like, you know, because that is a fear that comes to mind. Anybody that has had cancer before is in cancer treatment, you kind of have PTSD or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, even people that are cancer free, they always worry that their cancer is going to come back. So again, this increase wasn't a setback for me. It's the residue of what's already been defeated. Let that hit your spirit. Do you have a residue of what's been defeated in your life? You know what I'm saying? People say a lot of times you don't look like what you're going through. You know what I mean? But a lot of times they don't even see the residue that has been left over for what has already been defeated. So my increase in my tumor, it's just the residue that's showing, God is still showing me that he's working on my behalf. And my healing doesn't look like what I thought it was going to look like over 3 years ago when I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Again, it doesn't look like less, even though it is less. But along with it comes with that peace in knowing that God is healing my body on his time. He said, he told me, he said, that time frame that you thought is not exactly what I have planned for you. So every step of the way, every step of the journey, I'm learning more and more about myself. And I know that this all happened so that I could transform into the person that I'm supposed to be. So increase or you decrease, that's just my word. That's my little sermon for today. So God is good. The disease has no power. God has all the power. And so if I wouldn't have gotten nothing for Christmas, and I got some nice little gifts, then I have the gift of life. And with all that's going on in the world today, material things truly do not matter. It's, do we wake up in the morning with our eyes open, breathing, able to see our friends and family on a day like today. And so that's what really matters. Yeah. Oh, I cut my hair. I'm sure, you can tell that. Just a little something for the holidays and the new year. So thank you for listening. TTYL.